When I first met Yuki, I thought she was in her early 60s. Her skin glowed with health, her posture was straight as an arrow, and her eyes sparkled with a wisdom that could only come from decades of well-lived life. Imagine my surprise when she told me she had just celebrated her 75th birthday. No surgical procedures, no expensive treatments, just a life thoughtfully and intentionally lived. Yuki isn't a celebrity. She doesn't have millions of followers on social media. She doesn't even own a smartphone. What she does have is something far more valuable, a philosophy of aging that has kept her vibrant, engaged, and youthful well into her golden years. If you're reading this and wondering if your best days are behind you, I invite you to stay with me. Yuki's story might just change the way you see aging, especially if you're feeling overlooked in a culture that seems to worship youth above all else. Born in Kyoto in 1950, Yuki has weathered the changing tides of post-war Japan. She taught literature and history for over 3 decades and raised 2 children mostly on her own after losing her husband Hiroshi to cancer when she was 58. Now she lives in a traditional home filled with books, calligraphy, and memories of a rich life. What sets Yuki apart isn't just her appearance, it's her energy, her clarity, and the quiet dignity with which she moves through the world. I take care of the small things, she told me. Every day is a gift that deserves to be honored, not rushed through. And that's where our journey begins, in the small, intentional details of everyday life that can transform your own aging experience. Now, before we jump in, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Comment below and share your city, I always enjoy hearing from you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips like these. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Point 1. Finding your ikigai, the secret to waking up with energy. The day I discovered my ikigai was the day I started growing younger, Yuki told me with a gentle smile that lit up her entire face. In America, we often view aging as something to fight against, but in Japan, there's a different perspective, one that honors the process while maintaining vitality through purpose. Yuki's ikigai, her reason for being, isn't grandiose. She doesn't run marathons or climb mountains. Instead, she's found deep satisfaction in smaller joys, painting traditional ink landscapes, writing beautiful calligraphy letters to her grandchildren, and volunteering once a week at the local temple where she sweeps stone paths and arranges seasonal flowers. Having something meaningful to contribute each day gives life flavor, she says. Without purpose, even the sweetest life becomes bland. Research from both Eastern and Western medical traditions confirms Yuki's wisdom. Studies show that seniors with a strong sense of purpose live longer, experience less cognitive decline, and report higher levels of happiness. Yet finding this purpose doesn't require moving to Japan or adopting an entirely new lifestyle. Yuki suggests starting small, think of what brings you joy without effort. The activities where time seems to disappear, those contain the seeds of your ikigai. For Yuki, these activities connect her to beauty, tradition, and service to others. What's most striking about Yuki's approach is how she's built community around her purpose. She belongs to a moai, a social circle of friends who have supported each other for over 40 years. They meet regularly to share meals, stories, and practical support. In Japan, friendship isn't a luxury, she explains. It's essential medicine for a long life. If you're struggling to find your own ikigai, Yuki suggests looking to traditional activities that connect you to your heritage. Every culture has wisdom about purposeful aging. Perhaps your grandparents taught you crafts, cooking, or stories that you could now share with others. When we pass on what we know, we stay necessary to the world. Point 2. Nourishing your body, the Japanese way of eating for vitality. When I visited Yuki's kitchen, I expected to find exotic ingredients and complicated preparations. Instead, I found simplicity, small portions of beautifully arranged foods, mostly plants, minimally processed, and eaten with deep appreciation. Food isn't just substance, Yuki tells me as she prepares our lunch of miso soup, steamed rice with barley, grilled mackerel, and lightly cooked seasonal vegetables. It's medicine for the body and the spirit. How you eat matters as much as what you eat. Yuki's approach to nutrition isn't about calorie counting or elimination diets. It's about balance, variety, and moderation. Her meals typically include a small portion of protein, often fish rich in omega-3s, several types of vegetables, a moderate portion of whole grains, and fermented foods like miso or pickled vegetables that support gut health. In Japan, we practice hara hachi bu, eat until you are 80% full, she explains while setting down beautiful ceramic bowls. Most Americans eat until they are 120% full, then wonder why they feel tired and heavy. What's fascinating about Yuki's approach is how it mirrors what Harvard nutritionists now recommend for healthy aging, an anti-inflammatory diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, and antioxidants. She's been eating this way her entire life, guided not by science but by cultural wisdom passed down through generations. Yuki starts each day with what she calls a grounding meal, a small bowl of mixed grains, never plain white rice, miso soup with seaweed, a piece of grilled fish, and steamed vegetables. She eats mindfully, without distractions. You should taste every bite, she advises. Your digestion begins with awareness. She credits her clear skin and steady energy to hydration and portion control. Throughout the day, she sips warm green and herbal teas rather than cold beverages, which she believes disrupt digestion. Cold water shocks the system, she explains. Warm drinks support it. Perhaps most importantly, Yuki connects food with gratitude rather than guilt. Before each meal, she says, "Itadakimasu," a phrase that acknowledges everyone who helped bring the food to her table. When you eat with thankfulness, she says, even simple food nourishes your soul as well as your body. Point 3. Movement as medicine. At 75, Yuki moves with the grace of someone decades younger. She doesn't have an expensive gym membership or complex exercise equipment. What she does have is consistency and intention, the twin pillars of her movement philosophy. Still water becomes stagnant, Yuki tells me as we prepare for a morning walk. The same is true for the human body. We must keep moving, gently but regularly. She walks for 30 to 40 minutes every morning through the neighborhood, greeting shopkeepers and observing seasonal changes in the plants and trees. Walking isn't just for the legs, she explains. It's for the spirit. Each step connects you to the earth and clears the mind. These aren't power walks or fitness marches, they're mindful strolls where she practices what the Japanese call shinrin-yoku or forest bathing, absorbing the healing properties of nature through all the senses. Beyond walking, Yuki practices gentle stretching twice daily, movements passed down from her mother that resemble elements of traditional Japanese exercise forms. She stretches in the morning to awaken her body and in the evening to release the day's tensions. Western exercise is often about pushing limits, she observes. Japanese movement is about maintaining balance. What's particularly wise about Yuki's approach is how she's incorporated functional movement into daily life. She sits on the floor frequently, requiring her to move up and down. She kneels to tend her small garden. She keeps her home immaculately clean through daily sweeping and dusting. Each activity strengthens different muscle groups while serving a practical purpose. Your posture tells your story, Yuki demonstrates, sitting elegantly with her shoulders relaxed, spine straight, and chin gently lifted. How you carry yourself is how you carry your life. Her grandmother taught her that good posture doesn't just protect joints, it enhances breathing, digestion, and confidence. Perhaps most inspirational is Yuki's belief that movement should bring joy. Exercise shouldn't feel like punishment, she smiles. Find movements that make you feel alive. For some, it's dancing. For others, swimming or gardening. The best exercise is the one you'll actually do every day. Point 4. The mind-spirit connection, Japanese practices for inner peace. When I ask Yuki what she believes is the single most aging factor in modern life, her answer comes without hesitation: rushing. Always rushing, never pausing to notice beauty. In her view, stress accelerates aging more than almost anything else. Her home reflects this philosophy, simple, uncluttered, with natural materials and open space. A small alcove displays a seasonal flower arrangement and calligraphy scroll. This is her Yuki Noma, a traditional Japanese feature that creates a focal point for contemplation. In Japan, we value emptiness, she explains, gesturing to the minimalist room. Not as absence, but as possibility. Too many things create too many distractions. Yuki's stress management begins with her morning ritual. She wakes early, before sunrise, and sits in silence for several minutes, simply breathing and setting intentions for the day. She prepares tea with full attention, focusing on each movement rather than rushing through it. These aren't separate from my day, she emphasizes. They are the foundation of my day. What's striking about Yuki's approach to stress is her acceptance of life's impermanence, a concept the Japanese call mono no aware. This worldview acknowledges that everything changes, that beauty is found in transience itself. When you accept that nothing lasts forever, not youth, not health, not sorrow, you can appreciate what's before you now, she explains. When difficulties arise, Yuki practices what Zen Buddhists call non-attachment, observing feelings without becoming consumed by them. Emotions are like weather, she says. They pass through you. You can acknowledge them without becoming them. This mindset has helped her navigate significant losses, her husband's death, her children moving to distant cities, watching friends face health challenges. Suffering comes to everyone, she reflects. But suffering can either break you or teach you compassion. I choose compassion. Research from both Eastern and Western traditions confirms that chronic stress accelerates aging at the cellular level. By cultivating inner peace through daily practices, Yuki has protected not just her mental well-being but her physical vitality as well. Point 5. Relationships, the Japanese secret of moai. Once a week, Yuki's traditional home fills with laughter, conversation, and the savory aroma of shared food. 5 women, all in their 70s, gather around her low table for their moai meeting, a Japanese tradition of forming social support groups that last for decades. These women have been my foundation since we were young mothers, Yuki tells me later. We've supported each other through everything: childbirth, career struggles, caring for elderly parents, losing spouses. They know my heart without my having to explain it. In Okinawa, Japan, home to some of the world's longest-lived people, moai groups are considered essential to longevity. These aren't casual friendships, they're committed relationships where members pledge to support each other practically and emotionally throughout life. Americans often value independence above all, Yuki observes. In Japan, we understand that interdependence is what truly sustains us, especially as we age. Her moai shares resources, checks on each other during illness, celebrates accomplishments, and provides emotional support during hardships. What's remarkable about Yuki's approach to relationships is her commitment to reconciliation. Life is too short for unresolved conflicts, she says. In Japanese culture, harmony is valued above being right. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations, but having them with respect and a desire for resolution. She's also intentional about maintaining connections across generations. She writes regular letters to her grandchildren, teaching them traditional Japanese arts when they visit. She volunteers at a local school, helping young students learn calligraphy. The young and the old need each other, she explains. They give us energy, we give them perspective. Perhaps most inspiring is how Yuki approaches the inevitable losses that come with aging. Rather than withdrawing after her husband's death, she eventually expanded her social connections. Grief changes you, she acknowledges. But isolation only deepens it. Community helps transform sorrow into something meaningful. This wisdom is supported by research showing that strong social ties reduce the risk of dementia, heart disease, and depression, 3 conditions that often accompany aging. Yuki's vibrant social life hasn't just enriched her emotionally, it's literally extended her health span. Point 6. Embracing natural beauty, the Japanese aesthetic of aging. Yuki's bathroom contains none of the anti-aging serums and miracle creams that fill American department store shelves. Instead, a few simple, natural products line her shelves: a rice bran cleanser, a green tea toner she makes herself, a light camellia oil moisturizer, and the sunscreen she's worn faithfully since her 20s. Beauty isn't about looking young, she tells me as she demonstrates her gentle face washing technique. It's about looking healthy and at peace with your age. Japanese women don't fight against nature, we work with it. Her skincare routine, followed consistently morning and evening, focuses on gentleness and protection rather than aggressive treatments. She never uses hot water, only lukewarm, because hot water steals the skin's natural moisture. She pats rather than rubs, treating her face like silk, not like the floor. What's most refreshing about Yuki's beauty philosophy is her acceptance of natural aging. These lines, she says, touching the creases around her eyes, they show I have lived and felt deeply. They are part of my story. Yuki takes regular Japanese baths, ofuro, deep soaks in warm water with natural additions like green tea or yuzu citrus. The bath isn't just for cleanliness, she explains. It washes away the day's tensions, not just the dirt. Her hair, silver and shining, is brushed 100 strokes each night with a wooden comb, a practice her grandmother taught her that stimulates the scalp and distributes natural oils. She protects her hands, which always reveal a woman's true age, by wearing gloves while gardening or cleaning. Perhaps most striking is Yuki's emphasis on inner beauty as the source of outer radiance. How you speak to yourself when no one is listening, this shows on your face eventually, she says. Bitterness, anger, resentment, these age you faster than sun damage. Gratitude, forgiveness, peace, these keep you young. This mindset shift, from fighting aging to embracing life's seasons, has profound implications. Studies show that people with positive attitudes about aging actually live longer and healthier lives than those who view aging as decline. In Japan, we have a concept called wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence, Yuki explains. The teacup with the crack that's been repaired with gold is more beautiful for having been broken. Perhaps we humans are the same. Perfect. Now that the storytelling is complete, let's wrap it up with a gentle, emotionally engaging conclusion, just like the reference script would do. This section ties everything together and speaks directly to your audience's heart, leaving them inspired. Yuki's story isn't famous. You won't find her on television or trending online. She doesn't post morning routines or skincare secrets. But in her quiet corner of Japan, she lives a life that reminds us what aging can be, not a slow fading, but a deep blooming. At 75, she walks without pain, smiles without bitterness, and rests without regret. Not because her life was easy, but because she chose, every day, to live it fully. To move gently. To eat mindfully. To love quietly. To stay present. And that's what she teaches us, not with instructions, but with example. That you don't need a new diet, a different face, or more stuff to feel youthful again. You need rhythm. You need grace. You need a reason to wake up each morning in small, loving ways to care for the person you already are. Maybe youth isn't something we lose. Maybe it's something we forget, and Yuki helps us remember. So as you sit with your cup of tea, or fold the laundry, or water your garden, pause. Take a breath. Be gentle with yourself. Speak kindly to the face in the mirror. And know that every day, at any age, you have the power to begin again, with presence, with peace, and with purpose. If this story made you feel something, if it reminded you of your own strength, or your mother's softness, or the joy in your everyday routine, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your reflections. And if you'd like more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. There's always more wisdom waiting.